What's something that if you think about it for too long it freaks you out? That I will never meet again many people I've known. My life is an endless succession of people saying goodbye. That just decades from now, the way we live at the moment will seem really old-timey to people. Kind of like how we think of the 1920s or the 1950s. And my kids will feel the same way about my oh so cool black and chrome kitchen appliances as I do about my mum's hockey beige, orange and brown kitchen combo. How fragile my body is, and how one stupid mistake or accident could leave me permanently incapacitated and or in great pain. But at the same time, humans are pretty durable. How much of your brain you can remove till you are removed from your brain? Like where in the brain are you? I am inside of my skull, looking out from inside of this skull, like piloting a robot. That my body is made up of trillions of cells which somehow work together to allow me to move and not be some puddle of cytoplasmic goop on the ground, but also hold my thoughts, memories, and essence of me. Then I start to think about all of the molecules and atoms making up those cells, which replace themselves over time, yet somehow you still think that you're you. Whoa. Blind people don't see black, they see nothing. It's like trying to see out of your foot. Death. Either I'm gonna die and my wife will suffer, or she'll die and I'll be a mess. It's fricked either way, but it's gonna happen. Unless we both die at the same time or something, but then our families will suffer. Kind of a crappy thing to think about. Frick. I grew up Catholic, and as a 7 or 8-year-old, I would lay in bed and make myself feel physically uncomfortable by obsessing at the concept of eternity in heaven. I didn't like not being able to comprehend a never-ending amount of time. For me, it is where do thoughts come from? Then I'm thinking, well, where the frick did that thought come from? And then I'm in a death spiral of circular logic. Languages. We can all understand what we are saying, but when I start thinking about different languages, it blows my mind that people understand it the same way I do with English. Absolutely astounding. How many things we don't understand. There is so much that we learn every day about our bodies, our planet, our universe. But what if one of the things we don't understand is the one thing we need to understand, or we are fricked? The endless depths of outer space. That I might be retarded and everybody is just too nice to tell me, or that I'm too stupid to figure it out. When I was a little kid I suspected that everyone could read my mind and just weren't telling me. The fact that my heart is pumping all this blood around my body and that it could stop at any moment and kill me. I do always give mine words of encouragement and motivate him to do a good job. Come on, Barry, come on, you can do this. I named my heart Barry. I'm also going to leave instructions in my will that upon my death, all of my organs shall be donated to science, apart from my heart. By way of thanks for Barry's loyalty and hard work, I am going to arrange for him to be tied to a helium balloon and sent skywards. I want Barry to see the world and experience other cultures. I certainly don't want for him to be put inside another human and forced to work for another couple of decades. Look after your hearts, folks, they're lovely little things. This one gets me too. It's not so much fear of it stopping exactly, but when you consider the fact that it has all these moving parts, valves which open and shut, chambers that contract and expand, and it never ever takes a break, it just feels like something is begging to go wrong. It gives me the willies. Death. 100 years later no one will know your name or care. Also every one of your ancestors has had a child up until you. If my great grandparents had made love a week later instead, then a whole different group of people would be here. Well, unless you murder a few million Jews, then people would still know your name. The concept of nothing, that is, the concept of the universe not existing. I picture complete darkness, but then remember that technically not even darkness would exist. Fricks my head up every time. I always argue with people that you can't have nothing without something, that true nothingness is incomprehensible to us. It freaks me out when I consider that my mouth and my butthole are just opposite ends of the same hole. And when two PPL kiss they make a two-sided butthole tube. When I look up at the night sky, it's probably best summed up by Calvin, I'm significant, screamed the dust speck. The person that I see in the mirror is me, and always will be. It is who I was and who I am going to become. That just makes me feel weird. I remember first having these thoughts when I was around 12. I'd stare at my hands and it would really freak me out that this was me, that I'm who I am, and that's the only thing I ever am or ever will be. It felt surreal. Death, the moments leading up to it, and what exactly happens after. When people I care about are late to something, I don't know why, I always just assume something bad has happened, like a car crash or something. When I start thinking about past embarrassing things that I've done or conversations that I've fricked up, especially if I do this while I'm walking down the street and I get really embarrassed again by something I did, I start to actually say either frick or what I should have said in a comeback out loud. So not only does it freak myself out, it freaks out anyone who was looking. My kids might die before me. The fact that everyone I see at my university has had a life, they all have their own stories, people they love, and various life experiences. Just the fact that other people exist is kind of wild. That every person shoots, your co-workers, your friends, the person who served you your coffee, that girl who shot you a smile as you walked along the street, they all go home and crap. Pregnancy, a separate, sentient life form just hanging out inside of me is horrifying. I put a lot of thought into death, not just in the traditional sense. A common theory is that it just goes dark forever. This doesn't make sense to me. See, we can only experience life. We can't experience death. It's nothing, unmeasurable, unfillable, so you can only be alive, and the specifics come down to how the universe works. Maybe we have souls and we just instantly shift to another perspective. Maybe we're just a chance collection of atoms. But while you're dead, 1,000 universes can come and go, uncountable combinations and life forms. Given infinite time, the tiny probability of your exact atomic copy being formed at some point becomes inevitable. Would you experience life through your own eyes again, unaware of the eternities that have passed? Will it always be me or any living creature in the universe? Can you change things, or do you live your life on loop for eternity? Are there many observers, or am I literally the universe observing itself? Just another force, one entity split infinite ways? Once I get to, am I doomed to exist forever, without being able to enjoy the escape of death? I have to sit down and stop. For me, it's where my thoughts are. Like sometimes I feel like they're in the back of my throat, like where my voice is coming from etc. Then I think no, it must be up in my brain, and it freaks me out. For me, I feel like my thoughts are just behind my eyes. Sight is the most tangible sense to me, and even when I close my eyes, my mind's eye is still in the same area. The fact that I am 20 means I'm pretty much, give or take a few years, 1/4 done with my life. I have pretty much 3 more laps of that time and then nothingness. I'll be done. I won't be aware of anything, there will be nothingness. Just nothing. This freaks me out beyond all belief. No idea why. Sorry to be a party pooper, but due to the way our brains perceive time as we age, it will seem a lot less than that. The vastness of the universe, either it's infinite, which is mind-boggling, or it's not, in which case what's outside? If it's expanding at the speed of light, what's it expanding through? Or is space-time itself expanding? As far as I know, this is the closest to the correct explanation. My 3-dimensional mind can't wrap around it. Also, if it's infinite, then every possible scenario, however statistically unlikely, must have been played out at some time, somewhere in the universe. The fact that I am wasting my life pursuing money to pay bills. How fragile our society is. The only reason I possess my home is that I have a sheet of paper that says I do. What if society decides, frick your sheet of paper? The only reason I can buy food is because I have a plastic card linked to a computer that says I have money. What if that entire system just collapses? Just imagine if you woke up tomorrow and the dollar was literally only worth the paper it's printed on, and your credit cards were just worthless pieces of plastic. Colors. I have no idea if everyone sees colors the same as me. What I perceive to be as green, someone else could see what I perceive to be red. That, and trying to imagine a new color. The fact that I'm 25, single, and unemployed. That crap freaks me out. The funny thing is that I've had girlfriends and I've had jobs, and yet when I'm single and unemployed I may as well be a wizard based on how little confidence I feel about ever leaving my present state. What the point of anything is. Like, why were we given 70 years to do whatever is weird, man? I feel you. My entire life is an existential crisis. Think about this. The only reason you know that you're you is that you have control over your body for the most part. Everyone thinks they're themselves. Even if you were born to different parents in a different country, you would still think you're you, and even though you could have just as easily been someone else. Before you were you, what were you? You don't know. You could die and be another you, just different. It's sort of like reincarnation, but there's no physical recycling. Maybe when I die I just get to be a different me? It weirdly makes me not fear death. As a person with anxiety, it took some balls looking over this thread. That every person I see on the street, at the mall or anywhere really, have their own dreams, families, friends, likes, dislikes and all that. All the people that are just support cast in my life are the lead role in their own lives, and I am just a passerby. I just cannot fathom this. That, hypothetically, none of you exist. That Reddit, life, friends, everything could simply be a figment of my own imagination. That each one of us essentially lives in our own little universes our minds created. You have been visited by the Wealth Rat. Subscribe in 12 seconds and he will share his wealth with you. Thanks for watching. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.